Hey, guys. I don't know what I'm saying, and this is already going south. Hey, this is Real Talk with Joe and Cody. We had literally just recorded a 20-minute video that just went to crap, and I'm the only one talking. It looks like I'm talking to myself, and so whatever.
It's a good lesson to clear your phone space for me.
um, anyways, hey, how's it going? How are rates? Crappy?
Really good. No, they're great.
Yeah, you're lying.
Yeah. No, they've improved. So
Okay, by how much?
Where
are we at?
Not a lot. They're just national average is just barely below 7 now. So we were up over 7 for a little bit. Now we're squeaking our way back down. So
okay,
it's the seesaw, the teeter-totter, the whatever you want to call it. It's nothing steady, but we're at least getting into a nice, decent little groove of potentially coming down a little bit. So
yeah.
Long story short, don't wait to buy your house if you're waiting for rates, because they don't seem to be moving much.
I was talking to a client the other day, and we were just talking about it in general, and and I wasn't blaming you particularly, but it's like,
but you were.
They're like, okay, so if next year, will the rates be down and we could sell our house for more? And it's like, look, lenders have been saying the rates are going down for the last year and a half now, and have done the exact opposite. So I don't think anyone can predict what the rates are going to do. Theoretically, hopefully, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like at this point, we're just throwing darts in the air and seeing which one.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't even know.
I don't think anybody.
Analogy, but
well, it is. It can be. Throw them into the air.
I don't know what you're waiting for though. It drop on your head or what? But anyways, it's a guessing game.
It's a total guessing game. Everything that has happened, I think everybody would agree that they didn't expect to see it here still.
Yeah.
But we are, and I think we're all to the point now of like we can talk about what the current is and what the past is, but none of us really know when they're going to come down, if they're going to come down, how far. But it's fun to think about.
The deal is, what I'm seeing is you should talk to your lender about their different opportunities available to buy down your rate. And or when you make the offer, ask the seller to help you out. Almost every seller I've talked to that I'm with currently, that I'm working with as a buyer's agent, are willing to work through this economy together. So if you see a house and it's been on the market for a week and you're afraid to make an offer, make the offer. Because it's time to just get out of this little system. It was so funny. The network group that we have was talking about how Oregon buyers are the most passive aggressive type of buyers that are out there, and it's totally true. And how they compared it was like, they literally are the type that goes in the first week. They're like, we want to make an offer, but we don't want to be offensive, so we're not going to make one because we need the closing cost credit, or we need to offer a little bit lower, but we're not going to do that because we don't want to offend the seller. And then 45 days goes by, and they're like, oh, it's been on the market for that long, and why is it such a bad house? And then it's just like, we're gonna move on to another house. It's like,
oh man,
so frustrating. But yeah, it was just different analogies that they use. I was like, it is totally buyers, and I tell all my buyers, like, make the offer, just make it. If you love the house, make the offer with whatever terms you want, because the best case scenario is they say yes. In the middle is they negotiate. In the worst case, they say no, and you can come back with another offer. So.
Sure, and I got to imagine
buying agents out there need to educate their buyers now. Like right now, they need to educate their buyers to make the offer. Don't wait a week because you're like, oh, let's let it sit on the market so then we can make that. We can ask for closing cost credit. Well, let's wait 30 days. It's like sellers want to sell, so make the offer. Anyways, that's my rant.
I would imagine, unless it's a very lowball offer, they're most, I would think, are at least going to counter.
Well, it's just nuts because it's so slow for the buyer and the seller. In the real estate world, sellers and buyers move so much slower than the actual market. And so what I mean by that is, when rates were low, they've been so stuck in the COVID rates. It's just it takes so long for them to get out of the mindset of that. I need to give my highest and best right now. Yeah. And so because that's what it was. And it's just like, it's taking so long and so much time for them to kind of come around to the fact that sellers are willing to negotiate now. Buyers are willing to ask for deals. Like, this is the new market. So let's start running into it versus, it's still that kind of like timidness when you walk into a house after it's been on the market for a week and being like, it's going to sell quick, so I'm not even going to make an offer, or I'm not even going to ask. And it's like, that's not the market. That's not what it is now. Like, you will get the random homes in the random neighborhoods that will still sell with 8 offers, but it's not the general. It's not the norm. So anyways, make offers.
If you like it, buy it.
Yeah. I have some top questions that are asked of you, sir. No, we're going to do that in our podcast. We're doing that in our podcast. So that's a little tease.
Yes.
We are doing, if you haven't, go to Venture with Joe and Cody, subscribe, like our podcast. If you want to see our pretty little faces talking about not only mortgages, but just about random life and making fun of stuff, that's where we're at. So, but I do have some questions for you. Speaking of slow moving and people not understanding the real estate market, they also don't understand real estate terms. And I'm not saying this in a negative way. I don't know half the real estate terms.
There's a lot.
I wanted to go over a few with you that are common to you, Mr. Expert, but probably not common to a lot of people. So one thing that I hear all the time, and I heard it from Christina when she was in the mortgage industry, is PITI. And it was you guys throw this around like it's nothing. And you're like, oh, PITI, PITI, PITI. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And so tell us what you're talking about when you say PITI.
Yeah, so PITI is one of the many acronyms. It is principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. So the main reason that PITI kind of gets specified is that's really more or less your total payment, as opposed to P&I or PI, which would just be principal and interest. So that's your mortgage, but then you've got your interest and your insurance and your taxes. So it's thrown around a lot. It's listed on everything as that, just to give a clear understanding of this is really your total payment, as opposed to, because it's a little deceiving if you were just to put out there your principal and interest, which is technically what the liable, that's the mortgage itself. But that's going to be, depending on the house, that could be $600, $800, $1,000 lower than what it is with the taxes and the insurance. So PITI.
So the PITI is the most important.
That is the most important.
That's the one that's like ultimately coming out of your pocket every single
yes.
month.
Because most people have an escrow account, which means that their taxes and their insurance are included in their monthly payment. So that's really what's going to be coming out of your bank account every month. So even if you're paying them separate, you still need to plan for that and prep for it. But PITI.
Using the same similar acronyms, PMI.
Oh,
what is that? And then why do people need it, or why do they not need it?
Yeah, that's a dirty word. So PMI is private mortgage insurance. And mortgage insurance is for anyone who has put down less than 20% when they purchased a home, or they don't have 20% equity. So PMI is mortgage insurance for the lender in case you, as the homeowner, stopped making your payment and then you foreclose. The lender has an insurance policy on your mortgage. So the lender would get paid from the private mortgage insurance company. So it's an insurance policy for the lender. But once you have 20% equity, say you started out with 5% equity, and then you gain enough equity, you can reach out to your lender and ask them to remove that if you're in a conventional loan. If you're in an FHA loan, it's not really considered PMI because it's not private at that point. It is part of your FHA loan, but you would need to get out of your FHA loan into a conventional loan so that you didn't have PMI anymore. So
I see. I'm thinking out loud here, so this may be a dumb question. So if, say someone doesn't pay, you get the insurance, the lender gets the insurance on it, so they get paid. Who owns the loan, and who comes after you for foreclosure? Is this a dumb question?
No, that would still be the lender. I don't know the details on the behind the scene if the insurance policy that's covered covers everything, or if it's just a percentage.
Oh, I see.
I'm not really sure. I'll have to get some information on that, because that would be nice to know.
Last but not least, the question that people ask a lot, not necessarily the term and what it means, but earnest money and what it goes to. Is it just like a thing they get back, or what is it? Is it go to closing costs? Does it go to the mortgage? So what is earnest money, and what do they have to do with it?
So earnest money, Yeah. Earnest money is kind of like your security deposit. It's going to be put down at the beginning there. And it really depends on your situation. Earnest money can go towards your down payment and or closing costs. So like for example, if you were doing a VA loan and the seller was paying all of your closing costs. So you had no money that was required to be put down for down payment and all the costs were paid to you by the seller or paid for by the seller, then you would get your earnest money back at the end of the transaction because there's no money that's due from you, even though you put it down. If it was a different situation where you had your down payment, say 5% down, and you put in $5,000 earnest money, well, at the end, that $5,000 is going to be put in towards your down payment. So all the numbers that we go through and reflect when you're buying, it is going to show an earnest money credit. So your cash to close on all of our paperwork is going to show $5,000 less because you've already deposited that $5,000. So it's going to go towards your transaction, whatever cost that might be. And then if there's nothing left that needs to be charged to you, then you're just going to get that back.
Okay, cool.
Which happened a lot. I remember that happening quite a bit back in like 2016, 17, 18, where a lot of first-time home buyers were using down payment assistance. They'd get into it. Sellers were paying closing costs. They would literally get into the home with just the cost of paying for an inspection.
Wow. That's cool.
Yeah. Cool.
Well, cool. That's all I got.
I have one for you. I don't want to be the one answering all the questions. This one, I don't remember where I saw this one, but I thought it was a good one to ask you.
Like you're the one that's the mortgage industry is what's running the show in the real estate world, and so you are the one that's the cause, and you're the hero or the villain.
The problem, and sometimes
I just react. Like,
yeah.
So, but you've got a question. Go ahead.
I've got a question for you that I wanted to bring up to you, and now seems like a great time. It was brought up, and it was, what would you look for in like a home walkthrough? Like if you're a person that's never bought a home before, you're walking through. Obviously, you're not doing a full-on inspection, but like, what would be some things that you would point out to people that maybe they wouldn't otherwise pay attention to or even think of because they're so focused on like, this house is everything that we want. Like, are there things outside of that you point out to people?
Yeah, I think that, no, it is a good question because I think we were just chatting about it the other day with a buyer friend of mine that's like, it's an emotional purchase, a house. It's primarily a logical purchase. I don't even know primarily. It's partially logical and then mostly emotional because you have to feel that you want to be in the home. Like obviously you have to be able to afford it, be comfortable with that and the numbers and things like that. But it ultimately is an emotional purchase. So what we do is really got to figure out what the buyer wants in a home. So you really check off the boxes as you go through. It's just like, do you need an extra bedroom? Do you need a bedroom downstairs? Do you need a full bath downstairs? So checking those like easy boxes to check, like what does this house have versus what does it doesn't have? Because every house is different, and generally speaking, you're not going to get everything in the house unless you have an unlimited amount of money and you can buy, whatever house you want in the world. So it's kind of prioritizing what you want, finding out what that house has. Does it hit the majority of your priorities? I tend to look at the house critically when I walk in for more of the inspector types of things, like looking for obvious things, like obvious wear and tear on the house, leaks in the old stains on the ceiling, just various things that I can notice just based on being in a lot of homes. Like Christina always laughs at me, but I look at baseboards and don't go in my house and look at baseboards because they're trash, because my kids run around with scooters and everything and trash it. However, you can tell, like you can get a general feel for the condition of the home based on the baseboards. Like if they're clean, if they're not dinged up, don't have a ton of I just feel like it's kind of sets the standard for the house, like at least generally speaking. So I look at baseboards oddly enough and I'm like, funny. Okay, do they have like 17 kids in here, or do they have like cats that are tearing it apart or dogs that are gnawing at it? Because then you start to see the other things. Like if you look higher at that, then you're like, doors are banged up, chewed up, scratch,
Sure.
So I look at it with a critical eye as they go through and see their kind of checklist. I try to look at it as like, I hate this house, and it sounds bad, but I don't tell them that, but I go in that mode of like, what can I pick out, so that you can kind of foresee anything that, that they may not be looking at. If they're like, I love this room, or I love this flooring, or you can easily be blinded by the other stuff. And so I try to like keep the blinders off or on for that. And
sure.
Look at the negative. But I generally tell them, look at your priorities. Like, make sure that you can get the majority of your priorities with it, you know?
Yeah. I think that's what I would want, though, too, is somebody pointing out the negatives, because it's very easy when you're looking through it. Like, see, it's so overwhelming. And then you're kind of just like, do we want to get this or not? And then it takes months after moving into it before you start to see some of these little things that you overlooked. And
for sure.
And I think it's nice to have those things pointed out to where it's at least on your radar.
Yeah.
Rather than,
depends on the client. Like, I don't openly go out and tell them this house sucks. It's just, I'm aware of it. So I can kind of, like, if they're like, we love it, this is, what did you see? And I can kind of help out. But, and most of the time, houses are,
you're like, you love that thing? Do you look at the baseboards?
I'm like, wow. Did you see the baseboards on that thing? That is trash. And Christina makes fun of me all the time. She's like, why do you look at the baseboards of everything? I'm like, it just is a natural thing to me. The homes that generally are well cared for have nice baseboards.
Yeah, it's true.
It's life. And I'm not knocking anyone that has bad baseboards, because we have terrible ones because our kids are, but I'm already thinking in my head, once the kids get past this little Segway roller scooter through the house thing, and they get old enough age, I'm replacing the baseboards.
Yes.
And I'm just going to have them nice and clean. So yeah. Anyways, that's my thought.
That's funny.
But anyways, man, well, we're going to go record for some podcasts, go to Venture with Joe and Cody. Cody and I will be there. We got some good guests that are coming up. I have to talk to you about that. I think we need to incorporate some guests, but Cody and I talk about lots of stuff and joke and have fun. And so like and subscribe to Venture with Joe and Cody. I think I already mentioned that the video, I need to get the videos. I got to catch up on the videos. I'm starting to upload those to YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
No one wants to just listen to us. They have to see us, you know?
Well, that's half the victory for them is seeing our beautiful faces.
Exactly. Not just our personalities, but okay. Oh, in Vegas next week. This was on our previous recording that went south fast.
That didn't work.
I'm going with my brothers and my dad and my nephew Evan to Vegas, and so I'm gonna try to live stream with you.
I like it. Yeah,
do our live stream. So we'll see where I'm at. See where I'm up. I'm planning on being up a few $1,000s.
Naturally,
we'll see. I've already been there a couple days, so you could just see me very upset.
We're gonna see the lowest version of you.
Yeah, I'll at least fake it. I'll try to fake it, but we'll see.
That's all we ask.
We'll try to record next week, so that'll be good.
I like it. Yeah, that'd be fun.
Okay, man. Well, it's good to talk to you.
You too.
Talk later.